YouTube, what is going on? And welcome back to another video. This one is going to be slightly different than my usual day in the life vlog style videos, but I wanted to make this one and just kind of give you an update of what is going to be going on over these next couple of weeks. So as you would have seen from the thumbnail, I have coined this video the Marathon Masterplan, and I'm going to share with you what I'm going to be doing and how my preparations for marathon number 5, which by the way is crazy for me to say, and I'm also going to show you in a second and prove to you that this is also going to be marathon number 5, because we've got the evidence and we've got the receipts to show that we mean business. And there is a deep mantra that I have rooted into this particular marathon prep. That mantra is success leaves clues. And this Marathon Masterplan is built on stacking the evidence, stacking the experience, all the advice that I've had from, coaches, the research that I've done, and of course, just using myself as a guinea pig from the lessons that I've learned from each training block and each event to create what I am hoping to be the plan that sees me achieve my best effort marathon this time round. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and remember, success leaves clues. Let's get into it. So we're just going to take a quick step into my office, and I'm just going to break down how we got to being in a position of running our 5 marathons. And all the evidence is right in front of me on that wall right here. So flipping this camera around now, this all started with Manchester in April of 2023. This was the very first marathon, and this was something that I just wanted to tick off as a bucket list. I never knew that from that day we was going to be in a position where we're now preparing for marathon number 5. This particular marathon we did in 3:57. After Manchester, we then completed Chester Marathon, which was in October 2023. Now, this was actually my worst performance on a marathon so far. We actually did that particular marathon in 4 hours and 8. So many things went wrong on the day of that marathon. Then, moving into 2024, we actually did Barcelona in March. That was a fantastic, super flat marathon. I did that one in 3:42. So at that point, that was my best finish before we moved into September of 2024, which was Loch Ness Marathon. That particular marathon was the new personal best, which we did in 3:36. That was something that I was so proud of on the day, because that, my friend, is not an easy course. So as you can see, the evidence for the 4 that we've done right there, and you can kind of tell from the Chester Marathon to Loch Ness, a year later, essentially we improved a lot. Now we are moving into the first marathon of 2025, which is going to be the Rob Burrows Memorial Marathon here in Leeds. And I'm going to take you through what we are doing in regards to the master plan for getting that marathon over the line, fingers crossed, with a new personal best. So guys, there is just one thing that I wanted to mention before I get into the master plan for this year. Back in November of 2024, I did do a challenge raising money for men's mental health and the charity CALM, Campaign Against Living Miserably. Now, during that month, I set myself the goal of running minimum 10K every day for 30 days. And within that challenge, I actually clocked up 355 Ks worth of running across the month. That left my body, and especially my shins, in a not so great position. So between the end of November to essentially midway through February is where we're sitting right now, I've only done one run of 5K. So I've essentially taken 10 weeks off to recover my body from shin splints, okay? If anybody has been struggling with shin splints or even just shin pain or any kind of niggling injury, don't do what I did initially, and that was trying to, run through that, carry on training. You have to take that recovery. You have to completely peel back from your running. And that's some of the biggest advice that I can actually give in this video is, if you're not 100%, if you know you've got that niggling injury, then get over that first. That next race, that next event, it's always going to be there in the future. There is no point constantly waking up in pain or struggling with your training if you're carrying a pre-existing injury. So 10 weeks off running prior to starting this block, and my body and my legs, they feel great, which gives me that fire and motivation to get stuck into this particular prep. So success leaves clues, and within the master plan this time, I am leaning on some of the successes that I had in my last marathon, which was obviously Loch Ness, the course in which I should probably have never achieved a PB due to how hilly it was, and of course how my training preparations were. There were some niggling injuries in there, and it wasn't the best or the most consistent that I would have hoped for. But leading into the event itself, about 2 weeks out, I felt good and I felt ready. I could have literally woken up on any given weekend and done that event and felt like I'd given my all. But to go out on that day and get a PB, I was overjoyed with that, and there was certain parts of that particular prep that I'm taking and I'm putting into this particular one, ready for Rob Burrows Memorial Marathon 2025. So it's very simple this time round. I'm going to be following something very similar in terms of the approach, but I'm also bringing in some additions that hopefully mean that the whole training preparation this time round is exactly how I want it to be. And come the event itself, I want to hand on heart be able to say I've done everything that I could and hopefully have earned and deserved a PB on the day. So I kind of split it down into a couple of different areas, okay? So first and foremost, the training side of things, I am following a specific training plan, but this time round, there is going to be way more work on tempo and interval and speeds. Like, I want to do this marathon in a good time. I'm not going to disclose this time round, but I want to do it in a great time. And there was just lack of that interval tempo speed work in the last prep. So this one includes it. There's going to be, a non-negotiable, at least one speed work session every single week for the next 12 weeks. So I'm looking forward to testing myself with that and, working on that pacing strategy and really getting to grips with, running at a faster pace and improving from where I was last time. So we got tempo work in there. We've also got hill work. Even though this is a flat marathon, I still want to work those hills. I still want to push my body. And hill work's actually really good to just, build that strength and build that confidence. And of course, progress with your running. We've still also got the long runs. Any marathon training plan is going to have the long runs. But this time, we're trying to stick to the given paces in the running plan. So again, that means slowing down in order to speed up. So, that's something for me this time round as well that I really want to enforce. I want to have the pace that, the plan is set for, and I want to try and hold that and do my best with that. There's going to be no extra mileage. There's going to be no extra volume. I'm going to do my best to stick to the game plan because I do not want the injuries. So alongside the actual running plan this time round, we've got the strength training. And again, I'm doubling down on this. I have two non-negotiable leg workouts. The first one is a volume-based workout. So this is going to be higher rep, lower weights. What we're trying to do is generate, the strength and the endurance in the legs. It is making sure that we are working when our legs are fatigued, which is going to then translate into, the longer distance running at the weekends and of course into the event itself. So really putting a big emphasis on hamstring, glute, and even core work this time round. The second leg workout of the week is going to be more strength focused. So I still want to build good, strong legs. So a lot of quad work, a lot of like single leg explosive stuff as well. So really training like an athlete, really training like a runner should be training also. We've also, of course, still got our upper body workouts. We're going to do 2 of those. One day is going to be more push focused. One day is going to be more pull focused, of course, with some deadlifts in there as well to really obviously get that strong posterior, which is so important for running. And I've also included some core work into my routine as well. This was one thing that I never did last time, and I am making sure that whether I go to the gym or whether I've just got to run and I'm at home, I'm going to make sure that the core is being strengthened and is being trained. That is a big addition for the routine this time round. So another big thing for me this time round is getting it right in the kitchen with diet and nutrition. Now, Loch Ness, I generally kept my calories at maintenance. I was eating about 2,400 every single day, pretty religiously for that prep. However, there were certain training sessions where I felt underfueled and it didn't feel great. Now, on the actual day and the carb before, I felt like I absolutely nailed it for that run. So I'll be using the same kind of approach this time round. But for the training block, this time round, I'm starting at maintenance calories, but I'm gonna be slightly higher. I'm a little bit heavier now than what I was obviously in that particular prep. So I'm coming in at about 2,600 daily calories. I'm gonna make sure that my protein is so consistent as well, because that's gonna help me recover better between workouts. And on those days where I've got my longer run, I'm gonna be burning upwards of 1,500 to 2,000 calories or beyond. I'm gonna make sure that my calorie intake again for that day goes up to 3,000 or even 3,200, because I want to recover and I want to recover well. So get it right in the kitchen this time round. It's a non-negotiable. So another kind of non-negotiable for me, which is again a massive part of my marathon prep, is my rest and recovery from the training. Now, I am very fortunate that I can get 7 to 9 hours sleep every single night, like consistently across the board. I've not struggled with sleep since being a child, so I'm very blessed and very fortunate that that is the case. And again, that's going to remain, because that is the place that matters the most when it comes to healing your body and recovering from those workouts. So 7 to 9 hours every single night without fail. And of course, on those days where there's going to be, a hard workout or there's going to be a long run, then, there might be a couple of afternoon siestas that are thrown in there as well, but for good reason. It's all about the recovery protocols, and not just the sleep that's going to remain consistent, something again that I was doing on the previous prep that I'm going to continue to move forward with, but also double down on is I do have some compression boots. Now, I actually believe they work. I felt like they worked really well for me. So, most nights now these are going on, don't forget there's 2 solid leg workouts in there, and there's going to be at least 3 runs a week. So compression boots, again, are going to be part of the evening routine. And again, we're going to remain consistent right up until the event itself. So I'm a firm believer that, when you do complete a race or event, it's always good to kind of like debrief and see what worked well and see what needs improvement. And like I said, there are going to be some additions to this master plan that weren't frequent enough, or even, a part of the last training block, and, already we're going to get started on these things. So the first one is stretching and mobility. So, there's gonna be time and effort that is put into these things because it is so important. So whether that is, stretching after a long run or before a run, like I'm going to be doubling down on my stretching and mobility, at least, 15 to 20 minutes every single day now going forward, because it will make a massive difference come the event itself. And it's something that I did neglect in the previous prep. And, you know, I want to get through this particular event like unscathed. I don't want to be cramping. I don't want to be super tight. I don't want to be seizing up. Like, I want to do my best to get through it. So stretching and mobility is obviously a big one that is being pushed and pushed hard. A second one is yoga. So kind of falls in the same category, but we have started yoga for, you know, February, and I'm going to continue moving that going forward. So this again is probably going to be YouTube follow along, and, you know, me and my girlfriend might even go into, you know, a yoga studio and do some sessions there. But again, something that is so beneficial to running, but is so overlooked as well. So again, we're doubling down on that. We're improving our efforts and we're making that part of the routine. And like I mentioned previously, the core work, in particular workouts across the week, that's going to obviously remain as well. So it's more about the preservation of the body and looking after, you know, the muscles and joints. That's what's new. That's what's going to be, you know, worked at this time round. And, you know, I'm going to look back after that event and hopefully be grateful of the time, energy, and effort that I put into that side of this particular prep. So again, success leaves clues, and it's about leaning on those successes and leaning on the lessons and even some of the failures that you may have had from, you know, training or past experiences, whatever you're working towards. And it's okay to come up with a new plan and a new way of doing things, as long as you can be certain that it's going to get the result that you're hoping to achieve on the day, which is what I'm trying to do. So we're going to go back to making, you know, the marathon prep vlog style videos, of course, over the next 11 to 12 weeks before that one. Again, I'm not going to disclose the time that I'm aiming for, and I now just want to leave you with this particular one. Like, I also fell victim, I think, in the last prep of, you know, seeing other people's success on social media and seeing people do these crazy times and, you know, achieve big things, which is amazing and it's great for them. And we don't know their circumstances, and we can get caught up so much in comparison. And I don't want to do that this time round. I want to fully immerse myself in this prep. I want to enjoy it. Like, I want to go out and enjoy the runs. Yes, they're going to be hard and difficult, but I just want to go out, have fun, and enjoy, you know, the process, because it's within this process that you learn so much about yourself. And it's not about collecting the finisher's medal at the end all the time. It's about, you know, who you become in preparation, in your training blocks, and of course the mindset it takes to actually get that over the line and be consistent for 12 or 16 weeks, however long you're preparing for. So, you know, for me, this time around, I want to have fun with it. Of course, I want to push hard, and I do have a goal in mind. But even on the day itself, you know, I want to enjoy it. I want to take everything in and just ensure that when I cross the line, like, I'm super happy and satisfied. So fingers crossed that this block and prep goes according to plan, and I can look back in 12 weeks time super happy with the outcome. If you've enjoyed this video, I know it's been slightly different, please do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to follow along for marathon number 5, then please make sure you subscribe. Let's go. Peace.